Hey everyone, it's Monday morning, meaning it's time for Motivational Monday. My name is Christopher Donnell and I'm pastor at Urbana UMC, and we're so glad you're joining us today online. I just wanted to encourage you today to trust God in all things. I was reminded this past week while I was cleaning out the garage of the church parsonage, and I am so excited we finally have a garage to sweep out. I have never had a garage. We've lived in our same house for the last 14 years and it did not have a garage. Now that may seem like a big thing to some of you, that may seem like a small thing, but for me, this was a big moment that I was able to organize and get all the kids' bikes in there and organize the mowers and a workbench. And I was just so excited to be doing those things. But I was reminded while I was sweeping back to a moment when we first got married. Beck and I, we lived in Canal, Winchester, Ohio. It was 2009. We got married in February 2009, and it was probably middle of the year by then, maybe summer. And we were really just seeking the Lord and asking Him what's next in our life. What does He have for us? Which ended up being a youth pastor job here at Urbana. But this is before that. I was still an electrician, and we had a little 2-bedroom apartment in Canal, Winchester. And I just remember being so excited to have that space and that place for Becca and I, and just our little family. We had 2 cats at the time, still have those 2 cats, believe it or not. But I just remember sweeping the kitchen, and I think Becca wasn't home yet. I was by myself, and I just was so full of pride to sweep that space because it was mine. I just was so excited, and I just remember hearing the Lord tell me in that moment while I was sweeping that little tiny kitchen that was probably the size of one of the closets at the house we live in now, to just take care of the little things. I'll trust you with these little things, and bigger things will happen later in life that I can trust you more with. And I hung on to that, put it in my back pocket, and really haven't thought about it since. Periodically, maybe it's come up in our old house, and just was so blessed to have that space. But here I was just this past week, sweeping our garage at the parsonage and just realizing the journey that God has brought us on into the place that He has. And I was pretty overwhelmed with His presence, just sweeping the garage, and kind of got teary-eyed and had to walk in and tell Becca and remind her of that same story I told her 14 years ago. And that this is not a prosperity gospel message by any means. If you give the Lord, He's going to give you tenfold, like you're going to get a new Ferrari or something. That's not what it is. But it is about trusting God with your whole life, and that's scary, but there is benefit to it. It's usually better than what you've imagined. I would not have imagined this is where we would be in 14 years. I really didn't. I knew we were called to ministry into Urbana in this place, and have furthered my ministry career in the Methodist Church, and so excited to do all those things, but I didn't see this necessarily 14 years ago. But yet God has opened these doors for our family and for our church and for the ministry, and God's going to use that. And so my encouragement is, what is it today that you have that feels like a small thing that God's given you, and He's telling you to hold on to it, to work it, to trust it, and that He's going to be faithful on the other side. Maybe it's 14 years, maybe it's 14 days. He's got a good plan for our life, and when we lean into that and when we trust, it makes it, it's always better than we can imagine. That's all I can say. And so my encouragement is to you is find that small thing today. And dream big with what God can do with that one little small thing. And I think there's always perspective. We never arrive, right? So right now I have a new small thing. I don't know what it is at this moment. I'm just thinking about it. But like, what's the new small thing? So like, you think, okay, well now we're here. We trusted God with this small thing. Now what? Well, no, there's going to be a new small thing, the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And I think that's the key with our relationship with God, is like, what can I give you today, God, that you can bless me with tomorrow that's going to further your kingdom and our relationship. So I hope that encourages you. Find that small thing, even if it's one thing, and trust Him with it this week, and ask Him what can He do with it. Have a great week. We'll see you then.